Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood in her gleaming laboratory, her fingers tracing the delicate neural interface prototype. Years of research had led to this moment, a technology that could reconstruct and preserve human memories with unprecedented precision. Her team at NeuroSync Technologies had developed something revolutionary, a device that could not just record memories, but perfectly reconstruct them with absolute clarity. The soft hum of quantum processors filled the sterile white room. Elena's dark eyes reflected both excitement and a hint of apprehension. She understood the profound implications of her invention. Memories were not just data. They were the very fabric of human experience, the intricate tapestry that defined personal identity. Her colleague, Dr. Marcus Chen, approached with a digital tablet. "First human trials are approved," he said, his voice measured. "The ethics committee has given us conditional clearance." Elena nodded, knowing that what they were about to attempt would change everything. The ability to capture, store, and potentially manipulate memories could rewrite the understanding of human consciousness. But at what cost? The prototype looked deceptively simple. A sleek neural headset with microscopic quantum sensors that could map neural pathways with unprecedented accuracy. Each memory was a complex web of emotions, sensory details, and subconscious connections. Their technology promised to decode this complexity with scientific precision. As she adjusted the calibration settings, Elena couldn't shake a subtle feeling of unease. Scientific breakthroughs always carried unexpected consequences, and this one seemed poised to challenge the very definition of human experience. Little did she know how profoundly her invention would challenge everything she believed about memory, identity, and healing. The first human trial subject was Michael Thompson, a 35-year-old war veteran struggling with severe PTSD. His memories were a labyrinth of traumatic experiences from multiple combat deployments. Traditional therapies had failed him, leaving him trapped in a cycle of recurring nightmares and emotional disconnection. Elena carefully positioned the neural interface, explaining each step to Michael. Her team had developed a non-invasive method that could map traumatic memories without causing additional psychological harm. The goal was not just to observe, but to understand and potentially reconstruct these experiences in a controlled, therapeutic environment. "You'll feel a slight tingling sensation," she warned, "but no pain. We're essentially creating a detailed neural map of your most challenging memories." Michael's hands trembled slightly. He had tried everything: medication, therapy, support groups. Nothing had truly helped him process the emotional wounds of war. This experimental technology represented his last hope. The quantum sensors began their intricate dance, mapping neural pathways with microscopic precision. Complex algorithms translated raw neurological data into comprehensible memory sequences. Elena watched the holographic displays, seeing fragments of Michael's war experiences emerge like ghostly reconstructions. Explosions, dust, screaming, fragments of intense emotional trauma translated into vivid, almost tangible representations. Marcus monitored the physiological responses. Michael's heart rate fluctuated, his breathing became irregular. The memory reconstruction was happening in real time, revealing layers of psychological complexity that traditional therapies could never access. "We're not just observing," Elena muttered to herself, "we're potentially rewriting neurological narratives." The initial results were promising yet unsettling. Michael's traumatic memories could be viewed almost like documentary footage, complete with emotional context and sensory details. But Elena realized they weren't just observing memories. They were creating a technology that could fundamentally alter human psychological experience. Her research had unexpectedly revealed something profound. Memories were not fixed recordings but dynamic, malleable constructs. Each remembrance slightly changed the original experience, creating a fluid narrative of personal history. The ethical implications were staggering. Could they selectively remove traumatic memories? Reconstruct positive experiences? The line between therapeutic intervention and psychological manipulation was razor thin. Michael's initial session showed remarkable potential. By carefully mapping his traumatic memories, they could potentially help him process these experiences without traditional re-traumatization. The neural interface allowed a controlled, safe exploration of his most challenging psychological landscapes. "We're developing a new form of psychological archaeology," Marcus observed, reviewing the preliminary data. "Excavating memories with surgical precision." Elena understood the revolutionary nature of their work. This wasn't just medical technology. It was a fundamental reimagining of human psychological healing. But with such power came unprecedented ethical challenges. Who controlled these memories? The individual, the researchers, society? The questions multiplied faster than answers. As the weeks progressed, Michael underwent several sessions, each revealing deeper layers of his trauma. The team meticulously documented every response, every shift in his emotional state. Elena felt a growing sense of responsibility. They were not just scientists but custodians of human experience. Each session brought Michael closer to confronting his past, yet the weight of their discovery loomed larger. One evening, after a particularly intense session, Michael sat in the lab, visibly shaken. "I saw things I thought I had buried," he confessed, his voice trembling. But it felt different this time. I could almost touch the memories, feel the fear, the anger, but also the moments of camaraderie. It was like reliving it all, but from a distance. Elena nodded, understanding the duality of his experience. That's the power of our technology. It allows you to engage with your memories without being overwhelmed by them. We can help you process these feelings. But as she spoke, a nagging doubt crept into her mind. What if they were opening doors that should remain closed? What if the act of revisiting these memories caused more harm than good? The breakthrough came when Michael expressed a desire to confront a specific memory, the moment he lost his closest friend in combat. The team prepared for the session with heightened caution. They knew this memory was a pivotal point in his trauma, a moment that had defined his emotional landscape. As the neural interface activated, the lab transformed into a vivid recreation of the battlefield. Michael's heart raced as he relived the chaos, the sounds of gunfire, and the sight of his friend falling. But this time, he was not just a passive observer. He could interact with the memory, speak to his friend, and express the grief that had haunted him for years. Tears streamed down Michael's face as he confronted the ghost of his past. "I never got to say goodbye," he whispered, his voice breaking. "I was so scared." Elena watched, her heart heavy with empathy. This was the moment they had hoped for, a chance for healing. But as Michael engaged with his memory, she felt a chill. What if this technology could also be used to erase memories, to sanitize experiences? The thought sent shivers down her spine. In the following weeks, the team continued to refine their technology, but the ethical implications weighed heavily on Elena. During a team meeting, she voiced her concerns. What if we could erase memories? What if someone wanted to forget a painful experience entirely? Marcus frowned. But isn't that what we're trying to do? Help people heal? If we can remove the pain, isn't that a good thing? Elena shook her head. But at what cost? Memories shape who we are. If we start erasing them, we risk losing parts of ourselves. We could create a society of people who are disconnected from their own histories. The discussion grew heated, with team members divided. Some saw the potential for a new form of therapy, while others recognized the dangers of tampering with the human psyche. The debate ignited a firestorm of ethical questions that would haunt Elena long after the meeting ended. As the trials progressed, Elena received an unexpected visit from a prominent bioethicist, Dr. Sarah Patel. She had heard about the groundbreaking work at Neurosync and wanted to discuss the implications of their technology. Over coffee, Sarah posed challenging questions. What happens when someone wants to erase a memory of a loved one? Or a traumatic event? Are we prepared for the consequences of that choice? She asked, her gaze piercing. Elena felt a knot tighten in her stomach. We're not just creating a tool for healing. We're opening Pandora's box. The potential for misuse is enormous. Sarah nodded. And what about consent? How do we ensure that individuals fully understand the implications of altering their memories? The line between healing and manipulation is dangerously thin. The conversation with Sarah lingered in Elena's mind as she returned to the lab. She watched Michael during his sessions, noting the profound changes in his demeanor. He was beginning to reclaim parts of himself that had been lost to trauma. Yet, the ethical dilemmas continued to swirl around her. One evening, as they reviewed data from Michael's sessions, Marcus suggested a new approach. What if we could create a memory that replaces a traumatic one? A positive experience to overshadow the pain? Elena's heart raced at the thought. But that's dangerous. We could be creating false narratives. What if someone believes they had a happy childhood when it was filled with neglect? Marcus shrugged. Isn't that better than living with pain? We could give people a chance to rewrite their stories. The tension in the lab grew palpable as the team grappled with the implications of Marcus's suggestion. Elena felt torn between the potential for healing and the ethical quagmire they were stepping into. "Think about it," she said, her voice steady but urgent. "If we start replacing memories, how do we know what's real? What happens to a person's identity when their past is rewritten? Memories are not just experiences. They are lessons. They shape our values and beliefs." Marcus leaned back, crossing his arms. "But what if those lessons are too painful? What if we could help someone move on without the burden of their past? Isn't that worth considering?" Elena sighed, feeling the weight of the world on her shoulders. "We need to tread carefully. We're not just scientists. We're dealing with the essence of what it means to be human." As the discussions continued, Michael's progress became a beacon of hope. He was beginning to articulate his feelings about his past, confronting the pain rather than running from it. One day, after a particularly intense session, he turned to Elena, his eyes filled with gratitude. "I never thought I could face those memories," he said, his voice steady. "But now, I feel like I'm finally starting to heal. It's like I'm reclaiming parts of myself I thought were lost forever." Elena smiled, but a part of her remained uneasy. She knew that while Michael was finding healing, the technology they were developing could easily be misused. The potential for exploitation loomed large, and she felt a growing responsibility to ensure that their work was guided by ethical principles. The breakthrough came when Michael expressed a desire to explore a memory from his childhood, a time before the war. The team prepared for the session, eager to see how the technology could help him reconnect with happier times. As the neural interface activated, the lab transformed into a vibrant landscape of his youth. Laughter echoed as Michael relived moments of joy, playing with friends in a sunlit park. For the first time, he felt a sense of peace wash over him. "I forgot how good it felt to be happy," he said, tears of joy streaming down his face. Elena watched, her heart swelling with hope. This was the power of their technology, the ability to reconnect individuals with the essence of who they were before trauma altered their lives. But as she observed, the ethical questions resurfaced. Could they truly separate the joy of childhood from the pain of adulthood? As the trials continued, Elena began to notice changes in Michael's personality. He was more open, more engaged with life, but there was a subtle shift in his identity. He seemed to be distancing himself from the reality of his trauma, almost as if he were trying to erase it from his narrative. One evening, during a debriefing session, Elena raised her concerns. "I'm worried that Michael is losing touch with the reality of his experiences. While he's finding joy, he's also avoiding the pain that shaped him." Marcus frowned. "But isn't that the goal? To help him move on? We can't expect him to dwell on the past forever." Elena shook her head. "But we can't ignore it either. Healing isn't about forgetting. It's about integrating those experiences into who we are." The tension in the lab reached a boiling point when a new subject, Sarah, a young woman with a history of childhood trauma, entered the program. Her case was different. She wanted to erase specific memories that haunted her. The team debated fiercely about whether to proceed. "She's asking for this," Marcus argued. "If we can help her, why wouldn't we?" Elena countered. "But what if she regrets it later? What if those memories are integral to her identity? We have to consider the long-term effects." The discussion spiraled into a heated debate, with team members divided. Some believed in the power of choice, while others feared the consequences of playing God with human memory. As the team struggled with their ethical dilemmas, Michael's sessions continued to yield positive results. He was becoming a vocal advocate for the technology, sharing his story with others who suffered from trauma. His transformation inspired hope, but it also raised questions about the potential for misuse. One day, during a public demonstration of their technology, Michael spoke passionately about his journey. "This technology saved my life. It allowed me to confront my past and reclaim my future. We need to share this with the world." Elena watched from the sidelines, pride swelling in her chest. But as the applause echoed around her, she felt a pang of fear. What if others sought to use this technology for less noble purposes? What if it became a tool for manipulation rather than healing? The media attention surrounding their work grew, and with it came scrutiny. Ethical debates erupted in public forums. with some praising the technology as a revolutionary breakthrough while others condemned it as a dangerous manipulation of human consciousness. Elena found herself at the center of these discussions, often defending their intentions. During a televised debate, a prominent psychologist challenged her. "You're playing with fire, Dr. Rodriguez. Memories are not just data. They are the essence of who we are. By altering them, you risk creating a society of people disconnected from their true selves." Elena felt the weight of his words. "We're not trying to erase who people are. We're offering a chance for healing, for reclaiming lost parts of themselves. But I understand the concerns. We must tread carefully." As the ethical debates raged on, Michael's progress began to stall. He seemed to be struggling with the weight of his newfound identity. One evening, he confided in Elena, "I feel like I'm living in two worlds. I want to forget the pain, but I also don't want to lose who I am." Elena nodded, understanding the complexity of his feelings. "It's a delicate balance, Michael. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means integrating those experiences into your life. You can carry the pain and still find joy." Meanwhile, Sarah's case became a focal point for the ethical discussions. She was adamant about erasing her traumatic memories, insisting that they were too painful to bear. The team debated fiercely, weighing her wishes against the potential consequences. "She deserves the right to choose," Marcus argued. "If we can help her, why wouldn't we?" Elena countered, "But what if she wakes up one day and realizes she's lost a part of herself? We have to consider the long-term implications of our actions." The tension reached a breaking point when Sarah's session was scheduled. As the team prepared, Elena felt a sense of dread. She knew that this could be a pivotal moment, not just for Sarah, but for the future of their technology. During the session, Sarah donned the neural interface, her expression a mix of determination and fear. As the technology activated, the lab transformed into a vivid representation of her traumatic memories. Elena watched, her heart racing, as Sarah confronted the ghosts of her past. But as the memories began to fade, Elena felt a chill. What if they were crossing a line that should never be crossed? After Sarah's session, the team gathered to discuss the results. While she reported feeling a sense of relief, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that something fundamental had been lost. "We need to evaluate the long-term effects of this technology," she insisted. "We can't just focus on immediate relief without considering the consequences." Marcus sighed, frustration evident in his voice. "We're helping people, Elena. Isn't that what matters?" Elena shook her head. "It's not that simple. We have a responsibility to ensure that our work doesn't cause more harm than good." As the weeks passed, the ethical debates intensified. Elena found herself increasingly isolated within her own team. While some members were eager to push the boundaries of their technology, she felt a growing sense of urgency to establish ethical guidelines. One evening, she called an emergency meeting. "We need to create a framework for how we use this technology. We can't just dive in without considering the implications." The team listened, some nodding in agreement while others remained skeptical. "What do you propose?" Marcus asked, his tone challenging. Elena took a deep breath. "We need to prioritize informed consent, long-term follow-up, and a commitment to transparency. We must ensure that our work is guided by ethical principles." The meeting sparked a heated discussion, with team members divided over the need for regulations. Some argued that the technology was too valuable to restrict, while others recognized the potential for misuse. Elena felt a sense of urgency. They were at a crossroads. As the debate raged on, Michael spoke up. "I've seen the impact of this technology firsthand. It saved my life. But I also understand the risks. We need to be responsible." His words resonated with the team. And slowly, a consensus began to form. They agreed to establish a set of ethical guidelines to govern their research and applications. With the ethical framework in place, the team resumed their work, but the atmosphere had shifted. There was a renewed sense of purpose, a commitment to ensuring that their technology was used responsibly. Elena felt a weight lift from her shoulders. As they continued to work with Michael and Sarah, the focus shifted from erasing memories to integrating them. They began to explore techniques that allowed subjects to confront their pasts while also fostering resilience and growth. The sessions became less about erasure and more about understanding and acceptance. Michael's journey took a new turn as he began to share his experiences with others in support groups. he became an advocate for the responsible use of memory technology, emphasizing the importance of confronting trauma rather than avoiding it. "It's not about forgetting," he told a group of veterans. "It's about learning to live with it." Elena watched with pride as Michael transformed from a patient into a leader. His story inspired others to engage with their own memories, fostering a sense of community and shared healing. The lab became a hub of hope, where individuals could explore their pasts in a safe and supportive environment. Meanwhile, Sarah's case evolved as well. After her initial session, she began to realize that erasing her memories wouldn't solve her problems. Instead, she sought to understand the roots of her trauma. With the team's guidance, she started to confront her painful past, gradually reclaiming her narrative. During one session, Sarah expressed her newfound perspective. "I thought I wanted to forget, but now I see that those memories are part of who I am. I can't change the past, but I can change how I respond to it." Elena felt a surge of hope. This was the essence of healing. Not erasure, but integration. As the team continued their work, they began to receive requests from individuals seeking to use the technology for various purposes. Some wanted to enhance positive memories, while others sought to erase painful experiences. The ethical dilemmas resurfaced, and Elena felt the weight of their responsibility. During a team meeting, she raised her concerns. "We need to be cautious about how we apply this technology. We can't lose sight of our ethical commitments." Marcus nodded, acknowledging her point. "We've made progress, but we must remain vigilant. The potential for misuse is always there." The discussions led to the establishment of a review board to evaluate requests for memory reconstruction. The team agreed that any application of their technology would require thorough ethical scrutiny, ensuring that individuals fully understood the implications of their choices. As they implemented these guidelines, Elena felt a renewed sense of purpose. They were not just scientists. They were stewards of human experience, tasked with navigating the complexities of memory and identity. As the months passed, the lab became a beacon of hope for many. Michael and Sarah's stories inspired others to confront their pasts, fostering a culture of healing and resilience. The team celebrated their successes, but Elena remained vigilant, aware of the ethical challenges that lay ahead. One day, a new subject entered the program, a young woman named Lily, who had experienced severe trauma in her childhood. As she shared her story, Elena felt a familiar sense of urgency. Lily wanted to erase her memories, believing that it was the only way to move forward. Elena approached Lily with compassion, explaining the potential consequences of erasing memories. "I understand your pain, but I want you to consider the possibility of confronting those experiences instead. Healing can come from understanding, not just forgetting." Lily hesitated, torn between her desire to escape her past and the hope of finding peace. With the team's support, she agreed to explore her memories rather than erase them. The journey would be challenging, but Elena believed it was the right path. As Lily began her sessions, the team witnessed a profound transformation. She confronted her painful memories with courage, gradually reclaiming her narrative. The process was not easy, but with each session, she grew stronger, learning to integrate her past into her present. Elena felt a sense of fulfillment as she watched Lily's journey unfold. This was the essence of their work, not just technology, but a pathway to healing and self-discovery. In the end, the team reflected on their journey. They had navigated the complexities of memory, identity, and healing, emerging with a deeper understanding of the human experience. Elena knew that their work was far from over, but they had established a foundation built on ethical principles and a commitment to responsible use.